Okay, in this video we're going to do the quadratic formula from scratch. Okay, so we have to solve this equation. We have 3x to the second power minus 2x minus 4 equals 0. Okay, there are two answers. You also have an x that is not to the second power. So it's going to be the set boxes. And the equation's set because I see the 0. So how many terms? We have 1, 2, 3. So GCF and the table. Okay, now first, negative, check for negative, check for x, check the GCF. Now, I don't need a negative because there's no negative there. Okay, x, x squared, x, and then nothing, so I can't put x. And then the GCF, if you use your computer, 3, 2, 4 is just 1. Now, if it's positive 1, we just get rid of it. Now I go A, B, C. So I take positive 3 times negative 4. And it's negative 12. So I got a negative up there. So that's a minus if it's negative. We're trying to get that minus to come to 2 negative. Negative 2. 1 and 12. 12 minus 1 is not negative 2, is not 2. 12 divided by 2 is 6. 6 minus 2 is 4. 12 divided by 3 is 4. 4 minus 3 is 1. Since 1 is smaller than 2, okay, when I take 4 minus 3, it's 1. That's smaller than 2. So that means we have failed, okay? And all these t-charts fail. So if you want to skip that part, so that means you use your quadratic formula. Opposite of b, plus or minus the square root, b squared, double the parentheses, minus 4ac over 2a. Okay, now we want to know what a, b, and c are, so I don't have to look up there. Now, a is 3. B is negative 2. And C is negative 4. It's important you get positives and negatives correct. So the opposite of B, okay? So I cross this out and I put negative 2, but I have to make that, I have to make that opposite. So it would be positive 2. Okay. Now, if that's a positive, just scribble out that and leave it as 2. Only if it's positive. If it's negative, you need to leave it there. Okay, B is negative 2. Okay, and then 4, and then A is 3. C is negative 4. Negative 4. And then A here, A is 3. So I take 2 times 3 on the bottom, and that's 6. And then I need to figure out what the square root is, okay? So I go second, and then 4 keys up, need 2 parentheses, and then negative 2, close it. Now we need the second power, that's 4 keys up. Now don't just hit 2, it's got to be the second power. A subtraction sign, and then 4, 3, and negative 4. Okay, I got 7.21, so I put a 7.21 above here, and then these are the numbers I'm dealing with, okay? So I go 2 plus 7.21 equals, and divide by 6. 1.53 is the first answer for x. Now, after that has been established, we take out that plus sign. Now we do minus. So 2 minus 7.21 equals, and then divide by 6, negative 0.86. Okay, my next problem, negative 2x to the second power minus 5x plus 16 equals 0. So we have two answers. We also have an x that is not to the second power, so again, it's set boxes. Set's not a problem on most of these, okay? So you're set right there. Okay, so there are three terms. So greatest common factor, GCF, and then the t-table. Okay, so negative, x, and GCF. Now this one's a little different because you do have a negative in the front of the equation. So I need to put a negative, and then a negative outside, then a negative under all the lines. Okay. So x, here, but not on 16, so we can't do that. Now, on your computer, GCF 2, 5, and 16, and it's 1. But I'm going to do this because it's negative 1. So I divide by negative 1. So negative 2 divided by negative 1 is 2, with x to the second remaining. Negative 5 divided by negative 1 is 5. So plus 5 with x remaining. Positive 16 divided by negative 1 is negative 16, so I put minus 16. And then the a, the b, and the c take place here. So I take 2 times negative 16. I don't go here, okay? Negative 32. So again, it's 32, and you're trying to do a minus to get to 5 positive. 1 and 32. 32 minus 1 is 31, so that's higher than 5. 32 divided by 2 is 16. 16 minus 2 is 14. That's still higher than 5. 32 divided by 3 is a decimal. 32 divided by 4 is 8. 8 minus 4 is 4. That's lower than 5, so I did not find it. That is fail. So when I do the math and I get lower than what's over there, then I know I have failed with the chart. So opposite B, plus or minus the square root, b squared minus 4ac over 2a over 2a. So a, b, and c. Now A is 2, B is positive 5, C is negative 16, okay? So the opposite of B, well, B is 5, and to make B opposite, I put a negative in front, okay? That's how to make a whole number into its opposite, just put a negative. Now, if we start at negative here, then you put a plus in front of it. Okay, so the B here, B is 5. A is 2. C is negative 16. And then A here, A is 2. And 2 times 2 is 4. Okay, so we got to find the square root. So I double the parentheses before it goes into the calculator. So second, 4 keys up, double it, and then 5 to the second, that's 4 keys up, subtract over here, not this, over here, a 4, a 2, we'll put parentheses, and then negative 16. Okay, I got 12.36, so cross that out, 12.36. I got negative 5, the adding and subtracting, and then 4. So I take negative 5 and add 12.36 and divide by 4, 1.84. Then I go to negative 5. I'll cross out the plus, I guess. Okay. And now I subtract 12.36 divided by 4 is negative 4.34. Two on the back. Okay. Got two answers. Which strategy? You got an x not to the second, so it's set in boxes. Yeah, I need boxes. So set, and there are three terms. So greatest common factor, and then my t-table. Negative x and GCF, okay? So the 2 in front is not negative. I do not have x in everything. And on the computer, the GCF out of 2, 3, and 11 is 1, okay? If it's positive 1, don't do it. If it's negative 1, do it. If it's positive 1, don't. And you know if it needs to be negative, if there's a negative right there. That's the only place you look. Well, don't. That's positive 2, remember. I'm crossing out this little speck so you don't think that's negative. A, B, C. So I take positive 2 times negative 11. That is negative 22, so it's a minus trying to get to 3 positive. I'm telling you right now, it fails. You'll never find it. Okay, so opposite of B, plus or minus the square root. B squared, squared means second, minus 4AC over 2A over 2A. Okay, A equals B equals C equals. So the A is 2. It's positive. The B is positive 3. And the C is negative 11. So the opposite of the B is 3. To make that opposite, you put a negative. Once again, if it's negative over here, then you'll put a positive in front of it. Okay, now the B. B is 3. And then 4, and then A. A is 2. C. C is negative 11. Okay, and then in the denominator, you have 2 times A. Well, A is 2, and we know 2 times 2 is 4. That's obvious. So I have this, the plus minus, and 4. Now I got to get rid of that square root, so I double the parentheses. I go second, 4 keys up, and the first number's 3. Close one of the parentheses, and second power. Subtract 4, 2, negative 11. So 9.84. Okay, so I cross that out and I put 9.84. So now I see the 3 key numbers. So I go negative 3 plus 9.84 equals, divided by 4, 1.71. Then I take negative 3 and subtract 9.84 equals, divide by 4. Negative 3.21. Okay, and then my final problem is a little bit of a hook to it. Okay, there's 2 answers, but we do have an x that is not to the second. Okay, so I need to set and do the boxes. Well, we have a problem here. We're not set. So I set it myself. Okay, so here's my equals, here's my equals. If it's on the right, leave it. If it's on the left, leave it. If it's on the right, it's got to switch. So x second. Well, I have a 4 and I have a 3. Well, they're on different sides. So we're going to switch that to the opposite, and then we put it right here. 4 plus 3 is 7. Cross them out after you fill that out. What do you have for x's that are, not to a power? Well, just this one here. And that's on the left side already, so that keeps it at negative 3. non-x numbers, you have only a 5. It's a plus 5, but it's on the wrong side. It's got to come onto the left side. So I subtract 5, and there's nowhere to put it, so I just put a little minus 5 up there, and I'll put negative 5. Okay, it's 3 terms. I know what they are. So GCF and the big table. GCF, negative in front, nope. X on everything, not on 5. And then 7, 3, and 5 is 1 GCF, okay? Okay, so I don't need to do it. So 7 times negative 5, that's negative 35. So it would be a minus trying to get to 3, which is negative. You're never going to find it. You'll fail. You'll end up minusing the numbers and it's smaller than 3, then you know you're good. Okay, so opposite of b, plus or minus the square root, b squared minus 4a and c over 2 and a. Okay, so so what does a and b and c equal? So a is 7. B is negative 3, and C is negative 5. Okay? So the opposite of B. Now, B is negative 3, but only that number we switch to opposite. To switch a negative to opposite, you just put a positive or erase the negative. To make a positive number opposite, put a negative in front of it. To make a negative number opposite, put a plus in front of it. Okay, B. So B is negative 3. And then 4 is A is 7. And then C is negative 5. And on bottom, our A is 7. And we know 2 times 7 is 14. Okay, out. Double your parentheses at the beginning. And go second, tap the 4th key up, double that. And then we have negative 3. Close it. To raise that one to the 2nd power, we're right here. And then subtract your 4, your 7, and your negative 5. Okay, I got 12.20. So I cross that out and put 12.20 there. And now I can see what I'm doing. I take 3 plus or minus, okay? So I take you won't if it's positive 3, just punch in 3. That means the same thing. And then add 12.20 equals, then divide by 14. 1.09. Okay, then 3 minus 12.20, cross out the plus sign, divide by 14 is negative 0.65.